Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining me again tonight. So, tonight I have with me my handsome husband, DJ. And the reason I brought him on is because he took exception with something I said in my last video, the single ladies video. So, I gave 10 points to being single and enjoying your life. I gave some pointers about dating. And one of the things I said is that women need to date with intention, meaning like know what you want. Like when you're out here dating, don't just be dating just to date. Like actually date because you have a purpose. Like for me, for instance, when I decided that I wanted to be married, I didn't date anyone that wasn't on that path or would at least consider that path. So when I met him, I told him, I'm not dating for a boyfriend, like I'm dating for a husband. So either you with it or you not. But I just wanted to be forthcoming about where I was, and he wasn't with it all the way, but he was open to it. So that's what allowed us to progress in our relationship. But at any rate, I would like to know why you disagree with me.
Well, now I feel like when you're dealing with people in relationships and all that kind of thing, it should be more of a flow. Like when you say, date with intention, it's like an added pressure. And when you're getting to know somebody, the last thing you really want is to feel pressure. So that was my issue with it. I think that you should have in your mind what you want, but I think you should be open to where it goes because everybody doesn't move the same way. So if you come into it like, okay, this is what I want, you put all these expectations, and if it doesn't happen, you give up, but that could have been the best person for you. If you were just patient and, just kind of let it progress. Because to me, when you say date with intention, it's like a strain. It's not my idea of what a relationship or when you're getting to know someone should be. I think it should be like, y'all just kind of kicking it and you figuring out what each other like and how you can cope and all that kind of thing. And, if it fits, it fits. And if it doesn't, it doesn't, rather than like, all right, look, this is what we doing with this, because, people like me that don't really,
Go over well.
yeah, that don't really work as well for me. I don't want to feel like I have to do something. I want to feel like it's what we want,
Right.
and I feel like if it's what you both want naturally, then it'll work. It'll last longer.
Okay, and I can dig what you're saying. So I wanted to clarify, I guess, what I meant by that. You have to date with the intention of what it is that you want. So, if you're somebody that you're not really looking to settle down, you just want to date to have a good time. You may just be dating for companionship. You may be dating for sex. Just know in your mind and be clear about what it is that you want. Because sometimes, like, okay, say for instance, if you know that you're looking for something serious and you meet somebody and that person's like, well, no, I'm not looking for anything, then it's like, why even continue going forward? Because like already y'all on two separate pages. So it's like, to me, that's very frustrating. It's like you're going to be basically trying to make something happen the whole time, because honestly, I'm guilty of that. I remember dating a guy before I met you. We're not saying no names. You know what I'm talking about. But anyhow, he told me up front, like, the only thing I can offer you right now is a friendship. But in my mind, I heard, like, the only thing I can offer you is a friendship because I don't know you, Toya the Great. Like, once I meet you, that changes. So even though I told you that's all I wanted, now since I know you, I actually want a wife now. In my mind, that's what I thought. So it's like I honestly put myself through some unnecessary anxiety because this person told me up front that's all they wanted, but I continue to date them, not really accepting that. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I'm like, I hear you, but just get to know me. Once we hang out and you see how cool I am, you see how great I am, you're going to want more from me, And then he didn't. The whole time he stayed at that, I just want to be friends. So that's why I kind of got that, you know what, the next time I date somebody, I want to make sure we're on the same page. So that's what I meant when I said date with intention. So maybe I didn't word it the best way, but that's kind of where I was coming from. So, but I thank you for clarifying that for me. But go ahead, look like you was about to say something else.
Well, I was, because like that's a slippery slope in my mind, because I don't think it has to be a certain way that a great relationship develops. You know, I feel like
It can be like organic.
it can be, and I know it's a lot of experiences where women have went through with guys and they never got what they wanted per se, but you may have gotten what you want. You just didn't look at it the right way, or in a different perspective, because you know, do you want the title, or do you want the companionship, or you know, whatever kind of flow that y'all have, you know, because a lot of times I feel like people do find what they want, but if in a lot of cases the guy doesn't say, all right, I'm gonna marry you, then she's not happy, because she feels like, oh, you ain't really about me. But y'all were perfectly fine, everything was working, and you know, the feelings, the attraction, the connection was strong. But once that was introduced, if the guy didn't feel like he wanted to do that for whatever reason, then you thought he didn't want you anymore.
Well, I think to that point, it's just like I think about friends or family that I know that have been with somebody for 10 plus years, and they still either dating, they still engaged, and it's just like, what's the purpose? You know, you're just dating somebody indefinitely, like it's not going nowhere, and then you have invested all this time and energy into a relationship that it never takes off the ground, I guess. I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, why does that have to be the end all be all if the relationship itself is great? Like, why does the title matter? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think for one, it's society. Let's start there. You know, for women, like as little girls, you're raised, oh, you know, you meet your Prince Charming, y'all have the house on the hill, the 2 kids, the dog in the backyard. You know, so you have this like fantasy or this fairy tale in your mind of how it's supposed to be. So a lot of us, you know, we wait our whole life to find our Prince Charming. So when you find a guy that has that great potential, everything's clicking on all cylinders, like you envision your future and your life with that person, you know. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if you don't put some type of title on it, then it just kind of keeps dragging out. Like a man would just keep dragging their feet and never really fully commit. And then when you don't have that full commitment, it's like pretty much anything goes, because, oh, you're not my girlfriend, or you're not my wife.
Okay, so to that point, what people have to realize is anything goes regardless. It doesn't matter. All right, you're better off.
What do you mean?
You're better off kind of letting things flow, letting the person you with feel like, you know, what they are and what they want matters. Because, okay, and you see it all the time. People get in relationships. All right, we're married now, so this expectation. But the woman or the guy may not be feeling that. They might be like, okay, yeah, we're married. I'm just going to hide it better. Mm-hmm. You know, but the reality is they're still doing what they want to do. We all do, regardless. So my thing is that idea of, okay, it has to be a certain way is a mistake, because we all are different. We all have things that we want and things that we want to go a certain way. And some people have different methods of doing it. So it's like, okay, one guy may concede and be like, okay, but he gonna go do his thing, and one guy might be like, I'm not gonna be able to do it. But regardless, it's the common result where everybody's gonna do what they want to do one way or another.
I mean, that's true, and I just feel like over time things have just changed. Like, again, just due to society and the way marriage is viewed, like it has such a negative connotation now. Well, I guess maybe it always has, I'm not sure, but especially now, it's just kind of like in this world we live in, it's like no restrictions, no rules, You know, in some instances, no morals. You know, it's like back in the day, marriage used to be like a requirement. You know, for sex, for living together. You know, for having children, like that used to be the standard. So, like, if somebody got pregnant and they wasn't married, you know, they had to get married because they didn't want to have a child out of wedlock. You know, but as time has gone on, that's no longer the case. So I feel like men don't really see that need to really get married or commit no more like it was back then, you know. But for us women, that desire never went anywhere. It never really changed for us. Like we still want to have that full commitment in that marriage in most instances. Now I'm not speaking for all women. Everybody's different, but the majority of women that I know, they typically want a committed relationship or marriage.
Right.
So
Well, I think what's happening is, we all evolving. I'm thinking that guys are finally finding that they don't have to just go with it because that's what society has created.
mm-hmm.
See, and me and you talked about this a lot of times. Guys are, we're not what women think a lot of times. We're willing to make the sacrifices to make y'all happy and stuff like that. But if you was to let us just be raw,
Mm-hmm.
we'd probably be different than what is perceived or what we're quote unquote supposed to be.
Now when you say raw, elaborate on that. What do you mean be
Well,
raw?
like, I mean, because you're like, well, back in the day, this and that, but I'm from my opinion, back in the day, a lot of guys probably felt the same way that guys do now and carried it the same way. It just wasn't out in the open, or it kind of was, or it stayed in their mind, like they told themselves, okay, this is the way it is, blah blah blah. But like, if you, I feel like guys are. All right, let me start here. First, I feel like marriage is the reason it's such a bad connotation on it is because all the ones I ever knew about, and been told about, is the women getting everything and the guy kind of just picking up the scraps, if you will. So that's not appealing to a guy.
Right.
It's more appealing to stay single, run the streets, play, whatever. So when you get in these, when you think of marriage, you think of rules, boundaries, boxed in.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the idea with guys that don't want to be married.
So tell me about the guys that end up getting married. Why did they get married? Like, are they solely just doing it for the woman, or are there guys out here that really want to be married?
No, I think some of them really want to be married, understand, like, okay, I got to compromise this, and it's certain things that are in place, so let me go with that,
Mm-hmm.
And I think some guys, hold on, I forgot what you said.
I was basically saying, like, why do some men get married? I mean, if the overall perception is that marriage is this negative thing, or that the women get all the benefits and the men really don't get anything, why would men get married? Like, why do some men choose to get married?
Some guys still believe in that, the wedlock thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some of the reason they feel like it's what you're supposed to do. Because I mean, you got a lot of TV shows, movies, generational information passed down, like, this is what you're supposed to do. So it's kind of like embedded in some people's minds, like, all right, well, I'm with this woman and all that, so this is what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's another reason that, but if it was a free thinker, I think those are the ones you find that's choosing to stay single and
Mm-hmm.
Things like that, unless they really, and the only way that a free thinker will commit is if he finds somebody that is willing to compromise with who he is as well, rather than having him like, oh, you're my husband, so it's got to be this, this, and this.
Right.
You know, so.
Well, I have another question. That brings like another question to my mind. Why do men, and I know you're gonna say women too, but in most instances, why do men get in a marriage or a committed relationship and still cheat? Like, why even make that commitment? Like, if you know you're not ready, you know you still got play in you, why even settle down and commit to one person?
Well, it's a couple of different reasons. You might got a real good connection with them. See, and that's what coming back to that idea of dating for a purpose. Like, sometimes you don't know. You know, you all over the place. You got this going on, got that going on. You meet somebody, you feel real connected to them. You know, and it probably will grow into something real special if it's given time. But it's always a strain on it. Like, well, all right, we've been dating for 2 years. What's got to happen?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like I lost my train of thought.
You to put the wine down.
Well, because you asked, I was going somewhere, and then
Just.
it's still kind of there. It's just not.
I know. I think you was about to make a good point too. That's all right. The ladies will take the win on this one.
No, don't make it. Come on, bridge the gap.
So basically, now I don't forget what we were saying. So, anywho, all right, hold on. Let me think. Let me just collect my thoughts. So anyhow, we're gonna just keep moving to the next question.
No, because you had said something that I was on a tangent.
You were.
And then it just left like.
I was asking you, why do men commit and they still cheat, and you know they still got play?
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, and I think the simple answer to that is because they were I have it,
okay.
but I don't know how I want to say it. Basically, it was pressure to go that route. Like,
okay.
if it was okay, we kind of dating, we like each other and we're together because we want to be together. I think it would have grew into exactly what both of them wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, in my experience, it's not that. It's a pressure. It's okay. We've been doing this. You know, either your buddies are saying something, or her family, or or whatever the case. And it's like, okay, you know what? I do like this person, so let me go on and do it. And it doesn't, you're not like all the way
ready
there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I feel what you're saying, but it's like, I guess for us, like, it's levels to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you meet somebody, you date, you talk on the phone, you text, you spend time together. Okay, now we're going on trips together. Oh, now I'm meeting the friends. Oh, now I'm meeting the parents and the family. So in our mind, like, okay, we are going to the next level. Excuse me, we're progressing. And in y'all mind, like, no, we just cool. We just kicking it. We just chilling. But it's like, you have to understand, in a female's mind, like, when we see those progressions and those milestones, it's making us feel like something else is coming. So it's like, we kind of waiting for that next thing, and then a lot of times men just kind of plateau. It's like you find yourself in a situationship for 5-6 years, and it's like it doesn't typically tend to go anywhere.
Well, this has always been my question. Where are we going? I always want to know that, like, because I got a buddy that says, go to the next level. I'm always figuring, like, what is this next level thing? Basically, in a relationship, you get with somebody, they become like your life partner, and y'all share life experiences. What more needs to happen, or what more comes out of that? Your life experience, children, traveling, making money together. Well, I don't, like, a title doesn't need to be on that for that to be meaningful relationship that that y'all both enjoy.
I mean, this is true, but I guess, again, I'm looking at tradition. I'm looking at back in the day, and I know you're not a very traditional person. Let's be clear. I know you're not very traditional, but back in the day, like that's what it was. Like in order for you to get certain benefits, you had to be married, and now people are so lax, men and women, that those standards have changed. Now you don't need to be married to live together, to start a business together, to have children together. But in the past, that was kind of like a requirement. So I'm a little bit of old school. Like, I mean, I dig some of the new school stuff, but I guess morally, I'm old school in my values and my thinking. And I just feel like, okay, in order for you to get all that, what was it saying? Why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? Like, I'm from that school of thought, you know what I mean? So, but at any rate, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but, it's definitely an interesting conversation. So, debates or whatever the case may be, anything that y'all want to see us discuss or talk about, let us know or let me know. All right, thanks for listening, y'all. Bye.